morning, good evening. Welcome to this week's live chat. And I wanted to talk with you about YouTube and about how it's not easy. And you're not alone in thinking that the goalposts keep changing or it gets harder or more difficult, because the reality is we are all constantly learning YouTube. YouTube is constantly changing. It's not in your mind. It really is constantly changing. But what we need to be thinking about is getting rid of the negative off that. Like, it's always changing. We're never going to get there. No, it's always changing. So how can I change what I'm doing to take advantage of that? We need to be reframing how we think about these things. And there's so many skills that we need to have on lock, to be a YouTuber. Let me know in the chat if you hate the term YouTuber, like be a YouTuber, or the one that bugs me more than YouTuber is influencer. Okay. Because I'm just going to derail myself entirely. Influencers is not a term that was created by influencers. It was a term created by marketing departments who couldn't work out what bucket to put these people who had influence over their own audiences in. They had no control. There was no gatekeeping. So they had to give them a name, and that's where it came from. And I hate it, honestly. If you are working well and creating a really good community, yes, your opinions or what you're saying may influence the decisions of what you're doing. But yeah, my on, you're right. I don't know why that's not on. I didn't even check. I am on air. No. I'll have to check. I did rerun some stuff, so maybe I accidentally unplugged something. I'll have to check that later. But yeah, so there's all these terms and all these things, and it's not just the boxes that we're put in: YouTuber, influencer, content creator, entrepreneur, business owner, all of these things, because technically any or all of them you could tick them, right? Like, let me know in the chat, do you consider yourself a YouTuber or a business owner or an entrepreneur? Because technically you could be all three at the same time, but people quite often put themselves in a single box. So yeah, it's just one of these things. So we're going to have a big talk about that, about how YouTube is not actually supposed to be easy. And yet there are parts of it that are easy. So we're going to go into some of that. But first, I want to say good morning to a few people. Livestream Consultants was in early, T-2 and counting. I saw your comments even before this here, saying good afternoon, glad you're feeling better and able to stream today. So quick TLDR, I got sick. I got sick a couple of weeks ago, just cold, nothing scary, nothing bad, just a cold. But I have dodgy lungs, and I basically sometimes after I get a cold, my asthma kicks in, and that's what's happened. And sometimes I cough so much I can't talk, and that's what happened last week. It was like I couldn't control the coughing, whereas I'm feeling a bit better with it this week. Not 100% on it, but a lot better. So that's where I'm at. So it gets frustrating because your brain still works, but you don't want to be, on a microphone. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. I'll have to check something. Maybe I unplugged something. Maybe it's dead. I have no idea. Dimmy Hard, it is great to see you. I see your posts over on LinkedIn and Twitter. LinkedIn? Definitely Twitter. So it's good to see you in the chat. Justin Brown, hello stranger, good to see you here. Doug says it's not a business yet. Are you talking about yours is not a business yet? Because I think you're starting to verge into it. I think it's becoming more of a business. I know Justin's definitely running as a business. Justin, would you consider yourself a YouTuber, an entrepreneur, or a business owner? We're just having a little discussion. Livestream Consultants says, I can relate to all of that. Have had pneumonia too many times over the decades. Yeah, it's just frustrating more than anything else. Justin Brown considers himself a business owner. I like that. I always considered myself as a business owner before content creator or YouTuber. Because when I first started this whole thing, I started Fiberific, And I started as an online business. I was selling physical items. I would attend shows and set up a stall and sell things. And the whole YouTube thing started because I was teaching the same handful of people over and over and over again how to use a tool that they bought 6 months ago. So they weren't new sales, but they were still my customers who hadn't sort of left the events retaining the knowledge, which, like, let me know in the chat if you've been to an event where you've just walked away and your brain is like melting out of your ears because it's just information overload. Same thing happens at craft shows. You walk away and you're just like, I saw so much stuff. I saw so many things. I bought this thing. She showed me how to use it, but I cannot remember. So that's how my YouTube started. It was literally I think I actually got rid of the very first video, which was just a direct link for this lady. And then the next video was somebody was like, you can't do this with, you know, this particular kind of fiber. And I was like, yeah, you can. And I just showed them how to do it. And that's how it started. So let me know in the chat, were you an accidental creator? Because I consider myself an accidental creator. And then I lent into it. I was just like, oh, well, actually, this worked really, really well. And I got my first, funnily enough, my first sponsorships on that channel was from the company who that item was that I was sold to that lady. So it's very, very funny how all that happened. Justin says he considers himself a business owner first, then an entrepreneur, and then a YouTuber. Okay. Dimmy says, I really can't stand the term influencer. I'm an entrepreneur myself if I have to pick a box. And that's the thing, isn't it? Do we have to pick a box? I personally just then made you make a choice, but it was more so I could have that information of how you're thinking. But I agree with you, Dimmy. We don't actually have to pick boxes, but we get put in boxes. And if I'm going to be put in a box, I think I'd like to have some input on the label, like, you know, really. So the first and foremost thing that I really want to just put out into this stream today is that learning YouTube is a skill in itself, right? So you may have a channel on a particular topic and you have that topic on lock. You know your niche inside and out for whatever reasons, whether it's a favorite hobby that you've decided to go next level with, whether it's your business, whether it's, you know, just something that you are truly passionate about and you've dug in deep and you've learned all the things. So you've learned that one part, and that's an important part to learn. And then you've learned how to make videos of that, or live streams, but make videos of that thing. So then you've had to go in and learn how to edit, how to do all of those sorts of things. And, you know, how to make thumbnails, how, you know, all the stuff that goes with, you know, how to tell a story, how to move viewers from that first 30-second mark all the way to the end, and how to get them to click the thing you want them to click. You're learning all of these things. But then on top of that, you've got to learn how YouTube works. And the number of comments and posts that I'm seeing on social media that there's YouTube is not promoting my videos. Let me know in the chat if you've seen in social media somebody somewhere on some social media platform has commented something along those lines. So I'm going to go back here. If you are doing YouTube as a hobby or something similar, then YouTuber is appropriate. And then after that is a business. If you're just shilling, then influencer is correct. I don't even know if I agree with that. So yeah, I don't even know if I agree with that. Like, because I think even if you are like, I mean, if you're just shilling, you're just shilling, right? But I do think that you can be you can influence your community without being a shill. I don't think both of those things have to go together, but this is my opinion, and that is your opinion, and both are correct. Doug says, to be honest, when you start getting into brand deals and creating product, then you're moving into the business entrepreneur side of it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you do have to start thinking about things a little differently. It's not just about making a, let's do this and then we'll do this. You know what I mean? It's like, let's just get good at this, building trains and then make videos about building trains. It's the whole next level of, okay, this company that wants me to talk about their product, how do I do that in a way that won't alienate my audience? Doug was saying Reddit every day, just about. So that was about when we were talking about, like, when I asked about YouTube is not promoting my videos. YouTube doesn't promote anyone's videos. I just want to put that out there. YouTube doesn't promote videos. That's not what they do. That's not what they do. YouTube are not here to push our videos out. That's not how it works. So YouTube connects videos to viewers. YouTube is a viewer-first platform. YouTube is about making sure the viewers are satisfied. If YouTube thinks your content will satisfy that viewer, then that video is put into their feed. But it's not just putting it out on blast to every single person on YouTube. It's not how it works. And I really think that there needs to be a mindset shift. There needs to be a mindset shift about that. So you need to be like we've all heard this, you need to be making content with the viewer in mind. Yes, you do. Because if you are not satisfying viewers with your content, YouTube's not going to share it to other people who like that same content. I was having a big discussion with some people outside of YouTube last week about how, because they were like talking about this video and they were surprised that not everybody had seen it. And I was just like, well, do you all watch the same sort of content? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, like, this was a crafting group. Like, do you all watch all of the crochet videos? And they're like, well, no, there's too many of them. And you're like, okay, so you've watched this video from, creator A, but these girls only watch creator B, but you don't watch creator B. You're not going to be really put into the same bucket. So yeah, it was, and I'm like, that's why we have to share it with each other as well. So as viewers, if you find something funny or amusing or whatever, you share that with somebody else who you think will find it funny and amusing, and that creates more links. Let's have a look here. Livestream Consult says, while you're all learning all the YouTube stuff, you are YouTubing until you got a bit of a handle on it and then you cross over to the business side. At least that's how I see it. And I kind of agree with that statement, yeah, because you're learning the YouTube stuff. Right now, you are learning to YouTube, which would make you a YouTuber-ish. But you're learning YouTube. And until you really get learning the YouTube down, so you've got the thing that you're passionate about or the thing that you've decided to make your channel about, your niche, right? Or your topics. You're on that. You know your information on that. And then you need to learn the YouTube side of it, how to package it, how to get it in front of viewers, how to make your content watchable by the viewers that you want, how to make that content, make those viewers satisfied with that content, make them want to watch the next video and the next video, get your storytelling on lock, get everything down pat. And then as that starts to grow your channel, then it comes in this whole other side of it of brand deals, user-generated content, all this other stuff that you can do. So there's all of these, like, you think you're just like, right, I've got my niche down pat, I'm going to do it on YouTube and make $1 million. I think if you come in with that mindset, I think you're going to there's a good chance, because it's sometimes there's there's the special snowflake, but there's the good chance that you're going to be unsatisfied. You're going to be disappointed, because the reality is there's a lot of work to get the YouTube videos to get to that next step. So you've got your niche and you're truly passionate about it, or you're well informed on it, or well informed enough to make the videos. Because it's the other thing, there's that whole just being 10% ahead of the people that you're teaching. I live by that rule. I'm just like that next step ahead in a lot of the things that I teach. And it helps me to keep learning and keep reaching, because then I can sort of, teach the person on the step behind me, like, don't step on that part of the step. It's shaky. Step over here. There's all of this side of it. It's just being that bit ahead, but you've got your niche, you're ready to go. And then you need to just, slowly build into the skills that you need to go further afield. And sometimes we work out that this narrow or this original idea is not actually what you want to make content about. And you want to just pivot just a little. And it opens it up more to more audience. So just, I don't know. Let me know in the chat. Am I making any sense at all? I've been on a lot of asthma medication, so I'm highly oxygenated. Dimmy says, with brand deals, I think it's important to keep the sponsored part short and sweet so the viewers aren't just scrolling past that part of video. I'm gonna dig in a little bit more about that one in just a second as well. Justin says, damn, I only just realized your channel's now over 600 subs. I remember when all this just started. I feel like we've been at around the 600 for a while now, Justin. But we all know the drill. If you just live stream, it is harder to grow. It's just how it is. Dimmy says, I tried promoting a few videos and you can get quite a few subs and views, but it's not cheap. But you also need to remember that the views and subs are not counting towards the monetization requirements. Yeah, there is no, and this is something that's come up this week as well. There's no fast track. Like that YouTube promote button. Are you right there, Louis? Hey, here's a cold dog. So there we go. We got Louis Cam. He's all wrapped up in a blanket. And he is nowhere near a door or a window, so he doesn't actually know what he's barking at. But something didn't sound right. So you've got all these, this YouTube promote button, and you think, oh, I'll just promote this and I'll pay some money. It's not how the promote button works. It's like, and as you said, it's not cheap, and you do get the views and the subs, but they don't count. Those views that come to your channel from a promoted video don't count towards monetization. And if you're in this, startup phase of a channel where you're getting to learn and you're getting to test all the things before the monetization, if you've really got to already, like, for the promotion to work, you need to be selling a physical product. It needs to be something that you're going to get a return on investment that actually makes a difference. So whether it's I shouldn't say a physical product, a product, whether it's digital, physical, whatever. And you've got to be watching how all of this works. You've got to. There's so many people like, oh, just buy the subs, just buy the watch hours. I had an email. It was a little bit back. I can't remember exactly how long ago. It's in the last couple of months. Somebody wanted to sell me my watch hours. Oh, I see that you're not monetized yet on YouTube. We can sell you the subs and watch hours to get you over the line. And you're just like, how many people are out there actually paying for this? Because, like, wow, way to get your video, like, way to get your channel deleted. Honestly, way to get your channel deleted. But I always look at the promotion button not in the same light, because it's not going to get your channel deleted, but it's also not going to help you grow in the long run. You have to learn how to make the content that keeps the viewers coming back and watching for longer amounts of time. And if you can afford to keep promoting videos and promoting and promoting and promoting, that's great. But the second you stop, you're back to where you were. You're back to not having learned how to create a thumbnail, a title, a topic that's going to get the click. And, if I don't know, I suppose I'm not that person who just is interested in the vanity metric, right? It always has to be meaningful for me. And I feel like we were just saying here, that 600 subscribers, I've earned those by being, like, by putting out content, and by being contactable and putting out templates and things like that over on my website. I feel like I've earned those subs. I don't feel like I don't know how to put this. It's definitely one of those things where I'm like, I don't feel like it's just been handed to me. Do you know what I mean? I didn't just pay for it and then I received it. I feel like I put in the hard yards and I've earned it. So, or earned all of you who come in and watch the videos. And I'm not in like, that phase of like where people are like, oh, your channel should have so many more subscribers. And it's like, no, well, it would have them if it deserved them. And that's how I see it. Livestream Consultant says, now that's cool. I've got your audio filling the auditorium right now through the 400 amp audio. No need for headphones. Oh my gosh. That sounds intense. Don't know how I feel about it, but okay. How's the watch time going? I don't actually know. I don't have the tab and everything open to show it on screen, but I can just have a quick look here. Quick look. But I know we're not there yet. But let's have a look. Current watch time for monetization has dropped down to 1,992 hours. So that's all right. That's all right. Or were we 1,800 or 2,200? I don't know. Anyway, whatever. We're at 1,990. So we're nearly at 2,000 watch hours of the 3 hours required for membership. So that's cool. Livestream Consultant says, I think the new collaboration thing YouTube is testing could be a better way than the promote button. I agree. Doug, your video is out, like about the promotions. I thought I saw something on LinkedIn. I think it's out. Doug has, if it's not out, it's coming out. Doug's got a video talking all about the new collaborations tool that's currently, I think it's in. Is it in experimental or beta? I haven't watched the video yet, Doug. I'm so sorry. I got up and I haven't slept well the last couple of nights. So I've sort of get up and get functioning and sort of have a quick scroll through, and that's about it before. This is still my morning coffee. All right. So, but yeah, this new collaboration, it's an experiment. Okay. This new collaboration tool that hopefully becomes beta and gets rolled out looks really, really positive. And it's in the instance, like the perfect example is when Doug and the Creator Classroom did their collaboration series. So the perfect example of that is there's 2 different videos on 2 different channels, but then they're linked via collaboration, so it's being showed to both audiences. But I think that's rather than just tagging people and hoping someone clicks on the tag. And yeah, I think it's a really interesting way to do it. And I love that it shows both names as the channel name. I think that's a really cool thing. Now, I did want to go back here. Dimmy Hard made a really good point. With brand deals, I think it's important to keep the sponsored part short and sweet so the viewers aren't just scrolling past that part of video. Let me know in the chat. If you notice a sponsor read or something that's just obviously, it's not incorporated, it's just obviously they've got a script they have to read from for the next 60 seconds. And I just skip over them. And especially if it's an older video where it's probably not going to be relevant anymore, I just skip over that bit. I just get on to the content. And it's particularly bad for me in video podcasts where they get into their sponsor read section and you're just like, oh man, I'm just going to zip straight past all of that because I don't need to. I don't want to watch them. And like people like Linus Tech Tips, I think have done it in a really fun way. Where, they'll be like, they do that segue into their sponsorship. And so it's always just a very fast, very quick, but it is a total like disconnect from their content. But it's part of what they do now. You kind of wait to see how they segue to their sponsorship. And that's part of it. It becomes part of their video and you get used to it. Especially like that, like for me on Linus Tech Tips, I love the banter between Linus and D-Brand, so there's all these sorts of, things that you can play with. And I absolutely love that. And I love that the fun that's had when they do these sponsorships. And I think if you can look into how you can either make it fun or incorporate it better into your content. In saying that, we all know the brands want what the brands want. I was watching a Nick Nimmin, part of a Nick Nimmin, I think it was a live stream, and he was talking about how a brand wanted particular titling and particular wording and everything in the thumbnail and in the title and the description. And he's come back knowing it's not going to work with his audience, going, no, I don't want to do that. It's not going to work. And they're like, no, but we'd like you to do it. And he's like, well, if you're happy, it's not going to work and it's not going to perform as well as my other videos, then I can do that. But it's not going to work. And some of these companies think they know better. They think they know your audience better than you. And let me know in the chat how many times a sponsor has been right, where they know your audience better than you. So keep those integrated sponsorships. I reckon that 30 to 60 seconds is the longest. I've seen people be told that they need to do 2 minutes and at the start. And you're like, if I do 2 minutes at the start, no one's watching my video. No one's going to watch it. They're just going to walk away. Dimmy Hard says, morning coffee in Australia and I can't sleep because I drank too much coffee and it's now 1:24 a.m. Oh, so sorry, Dimmy, but I understand that because I was still awake at 1:24 last night as well. But yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I would recommend some water to try and flush the caffeine through your system. I'm not quite sure what that was in reference to, Doug. Surfshark, Incognito, Ground News. I don't know what that is. Wallace Bankley, great to see you in the chat. We're all just learning. We're all learning here. Everybody, all the time. One of the aviation creators does his 1 minute ad read at the end of all of his videos versus a different creator who does his right after the hook and incorporates his wife into many of them humorously. And that's the thing, right? Oh, sponsored ads. Okay. Like, that's the thing. Can you incorporate it and make it part of the video, make it fun or interesting to your audience? But otherwise, yeah, like in the middle or further to the end, so that those people that are interested in your content, they get whatever it is. I know brands aren't gonna like me saying that. I get it. Doug says was up late, but not because of the coffee. Yeah, that was me as well. Not because of the coffee. Louis is why I was up late. That's why he's so sleepy. He's not a fan of the street noise at the moment. He is grumpy and has to be confined at night because he is so grumpy. So, and it keeps me awake. So I'm loving it. It's fantastic. Hopefully tonight will be better. We can hope, hey? So yeah, so learning YouTube is its own skill set, right? So just learning how to make a video, learning the production of your video, that's one skill set. Learning YouTube and learning your audience, that is another skill set. So, I mean, I'm still learning. Like, I know that today I was like looking at my thumbnail, I'm like, that's what I'm going with, but I'm not 100% happy with it. Let me know in the chat. Have you put out thumbnails that you're like, that's what I'm using? There it is. So, you know, and we do know it's so important. Your thumbnail, your title are important. Your topic is important. All of these, like, there's so, like, what's the most important thing on YouTube? Doing everything to a certain level. You know, like that's the most important thing. Oh, that pink light went back off again. Oh, now I understand. I literally turned that pink light on. Before the blue lights are on, so something's on. That pink light's on. Hey Google, turn on studio lights.
Studio overhead, offline.
That's not the one I wanted. let's have a look here. This is going to do my head in. Sorry, such a professional. Devices, studio. That's on. Everything's on. I don't know. Don't know why. I'm going to have a play. I did do some jiggery pokery. And just in the section here you can't see. I did some jiggery pokery, but it all came on this morning. So, and I actually physically had to turn that light on manually. So I don't know why it's not on now. But it's legit gone. So I'll have to look about that. Let's have a look here. Coffee, tea, soda, none of it keeps me up. Been drinking too much of it all of the last 50 years. Has little effect on me now. Look, when it comes to coffee at night, I tend to be able to just have a coffee and go to sleep. If I'm tired already, like the coffee's not going to keep me awake if I'm already tired. But if I'm not tired and have a coffee, I'm still not tired. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is there. It's bugging me now. I miss my colour. The colour's gone. Yeah, squirrel. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry. But yeah, I was just like, I just clicked and I was like, hey, the pink is gone as well. Like I knew that the on-air sign was gone. I just didn't realise the pink was gone too. So it's like I definitely turned that on. I had to actually reach over the boxes and press the power button. So I'd say something, I probably jangled a cord and it probably turned on, but there's not enough power in it to keep it charged. So what is one thing that you want to be better at? Like that you're here watching me ramble on with not enough coffee in my system. So I'm very sorry about that. But what is the one thing that you want to get better at YouTube? What's your next YouTube goal? And it doesn't have to be like a subscriber goal or a monetization goal, but like a skills level. So what is the next skill you want to master in your YouTube creator business journey? So let me know in the chat. For me, I want to get better at time managing my stuff versus client stuff because I'm loving all the client work I'm doing right now and I don't want to give that up. But I'm also noticing that some of my stuff is being sort of pushed. So yeah, I want to get better at that balance. And then, you know, thumbnails. Thumbnails. I'm terrible at thumbnails. I try to utilize, like, I watch all the videos. I won't use like fake images of my own self. It's a personal thing in my own brain. I have no hate towards anyone who does it. It's a cool, fun tool, right? But I always feel like if I make, like I've done some, right, just to have a look to see what it came out with. And I always feel that they like overly soften and, you know, try to make the image look more, I don't know the word. I really don't know the word. It's not me. It does not look like me. It looks like a facsimile of me. And I feel like that if somebody clicks on that expecting anything even remotely looking like that, and then they get me, it's always going to feel fake. And it's always going to feel, I'm going to feel like I'm clickbaiting, even though that's not the intention. Because I'm like, I really do want to be able to just click the buttons and make the good things. I don't know if cartoony is the word I'm looking for. It's the ones that over beautify and get rid of all the blemishes and sort of slim everything down and you're just like, no, I want just a cartoony version of this. I don't want you to do anything else to it. I just want you to make a caricature of this. And they don't. They've got like the thing in their little system that's like, no, but I have to do all this other stuff. I'm like, no, you don't. I just want the caricature of this. So yeah, let's have a look. We're all good just to keep the magic smoke in the computer at most of the times. Yeah. Oh. But yeah, it's one of these things where I just want thumbnails to be easier, honestly. I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not great with like Photoshop. I can do some stuff, but I'm not fantastic with it. I can do Adobe Express. I can do Canva. I'm on Canva again now, guys. Just had to eat some humble pie and get back onto Canva. So, you know, but it's just, I'm just not good with thumbnails, and I'm good with color. So like I'm good with color and color theory. I'm good there because background and hand dyeing yarn, you can't put, you know, you've got to be cautious with when you hand dye yarn because it's also permanent. You just can't click undo. It's like you got to get it right, or that yarn needs over dyeing. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's one of those things. Wallace says, unforgettable. I can't get a career making money in the old age. I like to show my work and promote other people's content for free. Yeah, it's one of those things where this is the fine line, Wallace. Like you don't want to be making new work to be showing. You just want to continue. You want to show some of your existing work, which is fine. But unless you've got new stuff to upload, it's going to be very difficult to build your channel to a point where it is making any income for you, which I know it ultimately is your goal. You do want to be making income from it without other people making income from your stuff, if I remember correctly. But that's going to be a tough game. That's going to be a tough game. Dimi says, at the moment, I do a lot of client work and I don't have time for any of my own stuff, so I need to find a solution. Maybe hire an editor for my own channel or for the client work. Yeah, it is a tough one. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because like I'm the outsource for other people, and now I'm like, maybe I need to outsource some of my stuff. I'm just not there yet. Yeah, I don't know. It would actually solve the whole problem of struggling to edit my own face, of just having somebody else do the edit. It really would. It really would. Anyway, Livestream says, I can draw and draft, but Canva is as far as I go with all the graphic art stuff. And Doug's welcoming me back to Canva. It's your fault, Doug. It's your fault that I'm back on Canva. No, what it was is I have de-Adobe'd my life, which is actually really interesting considering some of my client work is using Premiere Pro. But I've de-Adobe'd my life, and that meant I also lost Adobe Express. So there's these things that when we make these decisions, we have to accept all of the outcomes from that. So I just assumed that, like, because there is a free Adobe Express, that I would just lose access to certain, you know, features. But it's actually made it so that not only could I not even access or not only could I not even download my previously made things when I had my license, so I can't even like go back in and not make any adjustments to it. Just I accidentally deleted the file and now I want to re-download it. Can't do that. That wants you to, you know, repay for everything. Like as in you have to sign back up. But I've had to just like accept it and just go, right, I can't use this. Like I basically, and the other thing was, every time I went to make something, it'd be like, well, you're out of storage space. I'm like, I've got 4 things left in here now. I've deleted everything because you've said no storage space for however long. So I just, rather than deal with it, I've just moved software because I've literally, 2 graphics for the website and 2 thumbnails. And it's like, you're out of space, upgrade. And I'm just like, no, I'm not upgrading. Dimmy says, when I started to post on LinkedIn, the jobs came rolling in. And even though I raised my prices, I still have too much to do. And I'm not complaining, but it's super stressful. So yeah, I don't know. Look, I totally understand. Like, I'm not complaining either. It's just I noticed and I'm feeling it right now. And it's like, I'm enjoying the work. I'm enjoying the amount of work. I'm not enjoying the whole, you know, the whole like, oh, wait, I want to just sit and craft for 10 minutes, but I actually need to do this other thing instead. So yeah, and it could be part of this. It could be part of this. I'm just a little, you know, a little run down from not doing things properly. Like, so what was happening was I'd get all the work done and then I'd still want to do my own stuff. So I'd stay up really late in the cold and just be like, and then not get enough sleep. And so I was, you know, it was my own fault. It's my own fault. I got no one to blame. But yeah, I totally get it, Dimmy. I totally get it. And yeah, not complaining. And I get that as well. Commenting, but not complaining. And I appreciate that we're in the same boat. I really do. Live stream consultants, you'd be in a similar thing where you're doing work for other people and it's just like, got to do the work. Got to do the work. Are you still just snoozing there, big man? Hey? What are you doing? You're just going to become a caterpillar. You just love a blanket. He just loves being under a blanket, he does. He is also cold. It's actually not too bad today. It's not too bad today. So, it just, I don't know. It's like, I think the temperature dropped overnight, so my house got cold, but I actually think the outside temps are supposed to be pretty decent. So, I don't know, but I'm cold, and so is the dog, and I can't have the heater on in here because it's too dang loud. Dimmy says, I've worked for the last 17 hours and just stopped a few minutes ago because my brain didn't work anymore. I saw an AI editor called Hey Eddie AI. It's actually impressing what it can do. I like that. I like that you found something like that. I'm in this really, my brain is in a weird place when it comes to some of the AI stuff, right? And part of it is I'm ticked because I've lost work because they can get AI to do what I was doing for them. They don't need to pay a human, and they don't need to pay a human Australian dollar rates, which that in itself is hard finding work because everybody is hiring in the Philippines or in Thailand or in India where the rates are so much lower. So I'm already behind the 8 ball because I'm in Australia and minimum wage in Australia is like 22 Australian dollars an hour. And I don't want to work for minimum wage. My daughter working at a grocery store earns nearly $30 an hour and she's just a checkout person. I don't want to earn less than her doing a specialized job, right? And so I'm already like behind the 8 ball in that regard because I'm in a worldwide industry where these people in other countries are doing the work just as well. So, you know, I don't want to diminish what they're doing. They just don't need the same, they don't need the same level of cash to survive in their community. You know, so it's just one of those things. But then to add into it, those people that were willing to pay now don't need to because they're using AI for all of that. It's like, oh, that's cool. Okay, so I'm having to reframe my skills and do something another way. I actually had a bit of a rant actually to Google Gemini about what am I supposed to do? How do I reframe my whole business and help people when you can do it all for free? Oh, yeah. It was, you know, and Gemini was very, very nice. It's actually some really great ideas. I took some screenshots. But yeah, Doug says, I remember in the 90s when I was doing camera work for 30 an hour. In the 90s, I was doing lighting for theatre for 30 an hour. And now, like, I'm like trying to push hard to try and get 30 an hour. So, it's and we're talking 30 Australian an hour as well. Like, we're not, yeah. It's very funny. So, but yeah, I think, Doug, you were doing videography rather than photography. Is that right? Wallace is just clarifying here. So yeah, so, it's just like, okay, I'm not just competing with other contractors. I'm competing with AI who can do some of the same work as well. So I'm like, but yeah, it's one of those things. In the 90s, I know, like, because the 90s is like 40, it's like, 30-ish years ago. I'm thinking late 90s for me, late 90s. But yeah, it was still the 90s. Yeah, Doug did video live production back in the day. Yeah. I thought it was video. I didn't think it was photography. But yeah, so I think yes, yeah, I'm definitely getting old. I don't know about you, Demi. I'm definitely getting old. I'm starting to feel my age a little bit, trying to keep up. The things that my daughter does just out of second, like, just like, yeah, you just do this. And you're just like, how did you do that? Show me how you did that. And it's really funny. She has no interest in this side of the thing at all, but she's got so much natural skill for it, that just makes me, sort of like, I'm like, you could do this. Yeah, but I don't want to. Okay. All right. Try and like, and then you're like, do you really want to be competing against her too? No, the answer is no. Oh yeah, Dimmy, so not too far off. I'm a late 70s. Livestream consultant says, in the early 90s, I was making over 30 an hour building freeways for a living out in crazy California. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting that that while cost of living and everything's gone through the roof, the salaries have not kept up. Like the wages have not, maybe not so much salaries, but the wages have not kept up. So yeah, so it's definitely trying not to, I've got to like move on because I don't want to be in this like maudlin anti-AI thing, because I actually use AI for some stuff. There is some things that I find AI super useful for. There's a lot of great tools. Like when I'm writing copy for things as well, like I find it so much easier to have a starting point where I, don't have the, I don't have the like that whole like white page thing of like, what do I even start with? So I want to have like, so I'll go in and I will have found like a pile of research. I'll dump that in to ChatGPT or Gemini, whichever one I'm using, and just be like, hey, summarize all this down. I want to create this kind of post doing this sort of thing, blah, 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 blah. And then it'll summarize it right down for me, and I'll have a read and I'll be like, oh, well, I want to write it like this. And so I'll utilize what they've done, but then I'll put, what I want onto it. And it actually giving it all that stuff and writing that it's a fairly brief prompt. I'll be honest. Just giving it that little bit means that, okay, I can move on to my next step really fast and really easy now. And so I found that that's been really good. It's still not reliable though. You have to do your own research. You can't just trust what it says. Livestream Consult says, oh wait, in the early 90s, I'd already been married for 10 years and had 3 kids already. Yes, not me. No, that's a no from me. Early 90s, let me think. I finished high school in the middle of the 90s. Game Widows, great to see you here. Doug says, I like to streamline the tedium. Yeah. And look, I'm not anti-AI. I just don't like that AI has taken some of the jobs that I was doing. That's all. I really thought, like, let me know in the chat. I really thought when AI came in, it'd be utilized for things that we didn't like doing. Like, where's my AI house cleaner? You know, I want Rosie. Where's Rosie? I was promised Rosie. I want a Rosie in my house. I am short. I can't reach all the spots that need dusting. I didn't expect AI to come in and start taking over the art. In the yarn craft industry, AI is actually causing a lot of problems. And I'm sure it's probably the same in other industries, but I see it a lot in this one. So there's actually whole websites where an AI has created an image of something, and not everybody has got it on lock of what looks like AI and what looks like crochet or knitting. I mean, I look at it and go, that doesn't look right, but especially the newer crafters, they don't really have it on lock. And then they download their PDF pattern and it actually looks like it could be a pattern. And then they're like, but it's not, I don't even know what this is making. And it's because the AI has tried to make the image into a PDF pattern and it's not worked. It's not worked. And people are being ripped off left, right, and center. So somebody out there is creating these images and creating these PDFs, sploshing them together and throwing them on a website. And yeah, it's really it's really bad. It's really bad. And like, there's a lot of discussions about people who like overly edit their images as well, like designers who they may not be using AI to make the image, but they're overly editing the image. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm a little nervous about using it in like, especially in my crafting live streams on the thumbnails. Like every now and again, I'll go in and do one of the fun ones that are like really cartoony and really non-realistic because there's a lot of like negativity in that industry towards the AI imagery. AI house cleaning, robot already. I mean, there's those little iRobots for the floor. Like, what are they called? The little circle ones that run around and do the floors. I don't have one of those. If they weren't $11 billion, I'd probably consider getting one. I have a cat and a dog, so therefore, you know, there's a bit of pet hair that I get to sweep up every day. That would be pretty cool, especially one of the ones that mops too. That would be cool. Oh yeah, see, this is the thing, Doug. People are getting the AI to do the work, but then they're not checking it. They're not double checking all the facts. And for some of the people, it's because they don't know how to check the facts. They're like, cool, AI can write this copy for me. That's so great. But they don't understand that the data that it could be getting is not correct. And it's all written around something that the AI created. Wallace says, never used Photoshop, don't know how, don't need it. I would be, Roomba, thank you. Thank you, Roomba, that was the name I was trying to think of. Wallace, what are you using to make the thumbnails for your YouTube videos? Just out of curiosity. So, like, obviously, we don't all need Photoshop, but I'm just curious what you're using. I just had visions of Tibbles riding the Roomba like it's his throne. See, I could see Louis more sitting on it and riding it around like it's his own horse kind of thing. And Tibbles just gets angry at it. Tibbles is my cat. Doug says there is a danger that you lose track of the facts and get lazy. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is not, it's not, but for people just to look at it and just get it to do the work for them. It has to be checked. There has to be somebody in there double checking things. Like, how many of you have seen, I mean, it might just be my Facebook feed, but how many of you seen in Facebook all those posts that come up like that are like news articles, and then people just pick the holes out of it like, that didn't happen. This is what happened. And it's because I'm not going to use the word journalist, but some copywriter has just gotten AI to do something and has not double checked the facts and then published it. Yeah. Oh, Wallace is not on any platforms. I'm just curious how you're making your thumbnails for your videos. If you're not using any, like, please let me know. I'm very curious. Doug Dimmy says, in 20 years, you can have an AI Android robot sitting in your chair, looking, sounding, and thinking like you, doing the live stream so you can do other stuff and people won't know it's not you. But then I don't get to do the live stream. I want to use the live stream. I want to do the live streams. The live streams are the fun part for me. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sitting here going, oh, I wish I was off doing something else. This is the fun part. Like, it's the thumbnails, it's the researching the topics, it's the making the videos, it's all that sort of side of it that I'm not great at, which is probably why they don't get done so well. But the live streaming is the fun part. So, well, if it's a thumbnail, I would use a photo. Okay. All right. I mean, that can totally work if it's a great photo, for sure. Then it can do your clients' work and the clients won't know. Oh. See, and this is the thing, right? Like, a client has hired, not Dimmy, this is not aimed at you in any way. This is a generalization. But this is something that concerns me. And I've seen it happening in other places, not with you, but with the other places. A client hires a person to do the work because they want a person to do the work, right? And then you've got that person just gets AI to do all the work. So are you really giving the client what they wanted? I don't know. Well, I suppose it depends on the client. Some clients just want the work done by not them. Like, look, I just want this done, but not by me. And that might be a different thing. Doug says, I've had one of the tools get facts about leaderboard all wrong. Yeah, and it's like, I'm sorry, there's entire pages there explaining exactly what this thing is, and you couldn't look at those and get the information. So, yeah. Wallace says, this is a fun place to be with you and the community, learning so much. Thanks, Wallace. I appreciate that. An editor friend and I were discussing AI editing in novels and how it's obvious now, but it's getting better. I find myself editing whilst reading. Yeah, and this is a problem, isn't it? Because there are actual humans who are editors for novels, right? And it's just a very different take. Oh, I think I read the article where that was the thing, because they are totally different. Oh, okay. Dimmy says, as this way the client wants me to solve the problem, I solve the problem. Does it matter how I solve the problem? They're not right or wrong, but it's an interesting debate. Yeah, I suppose, and I think it comes down to what it is that your client wants. Like, if they just want somebody who is not them to do it, that's one thing. But if they are specifically wanting somebody to do this task and they want a human person to do the task, but then you outsource it to somebody else, I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too far into it because I'm just unhappy with it. It's one of those things. Oh my gosh. I'm trying very hard not to, right? Is that what you're all here for, waiting for me to lose my mind over something? Gosh. Yeah, Chris do. Yep. It's a tough one. And it is a tough one. I don't know. I don't want to lose the humanity in creating things, right? Because that's, for me, and again, I'm looking at this from my perspective, and I understand that. For me, when I'm looking at content, and when I'm, as a viewer, when I'm on a live stream, and when I'm, in there enjoying the content, for me, part of it is about the connection to that creator, right? And because there's not a lot of other human connection. So I spend a lot of time here in this position, in this chair, with a new cover on my little, I make little things comfortable here. And I want to, I suppose I'm concerned that if it goes too far to the AI, there'll be no more human connection, right? And obviously there's some tasks that's like no biggie, right? Like, whatever, check this, tighten it up. Thanks very much. Then you go through, and this is the thing, you have to go through and reread it. You can't just go tighten it up post, you know, like, I don't know. There has to be oversight. And I think that's probably the issue that I'm having more than anything else, Demi, is that there's people out there who just let AI do the work and then they don't check it. And then when it's incorrect, they don't take it that they did it wrong. No, AI did it wrong. It's like, I'm sorry, it was this was your task. You didn't check it. So I don't know. Yeah, some are just looking for the task to be done. You're right, absolutely. Yeah, most just want to get the task done and not care how it gets done for them. Yeah. I suppose I just look at it like somebody hired me, I want to do my best. And I suppose I look at it as they hired me. They didn't just go out and hire somebody who can create an AI avatar and send it all through that. I suppose. I don't know. Are they just expecting me to actually do that? I don't know. And then I'm not. So I'm wasting all this time. I don't know. Maybe I am doing it wrong. And then they wonder why their YouTube videos don't perform. There is a little bit of that going on out there. There's a few people out there that are unhappy that their AI created scripts with their AI generated voice, with their AI chosen B-roll is not doing as well with their human audience as they thought it would. Now, there are ways to use a great AI generated script and to make it suitable for human viewers. There's absolutely a place for AI voices, for sure. Absolutely. I'm not anti any of that. But you've got to be looking at who the audience is. Who are you creating this content for? Like, are you creating it for yourself just to bring in income, or do you have an audience in mind that you want to look at? If a client wants me to do the work without AI, I can do that, but the price will go up a lot. Yeah, fair enough. I see that. And I'm not like I'm really clear here. I'm not against AI or AI tools. I'm against AI replacing all the content that we're supposed to be making, because then we're no longer content creators. We're AI, we're AI programmers. And the AI is the content creator. So, and I'm not saying that's the work you're doing. I actually not quite sure what work you do for your clients, but that's my concern in this YouTube centric place. And then there's also the fun uses of AI, right? Like those the VTubers who've been around longer than the latest iteration of AI, but they're really jumping on board with it, and they're getting some really great fun stuff out of it. And there's some really, like, let me know in the chat, have you seen the gorilla vlogging? I've seen and the people interviewing the newborn babies. Like, those are so fun. They are fun uses of AI. So yeah, it's just I don't know. It's one of these things where it's like there's ways to use AI in your content creation to make it fun and interesting, but there's a lot of people who just aren't doing that. They're just, like, I hate to say it, but it feels like they're just getting sloppy or lazy with it. They're like, oh yeah, let's just that's near enough, whatever, that'll do. And I'm okay with the 80-20 rule, but this is more like the 20-80 rule. Like, it's like, that'll do, upload it. And then they get upset when it doesn't perform. The gorilla AI videos are a hoot to watch, aren't they? They're hilarious. Somebody has gone to a lot of effort to make those happen using AI, right? No issues with what they're doing at all. It is hilarious. It's so fun. And like I've seen some with kangaroos. I've seen the ones where the babies are being interviewed. Like, I've been out here now for 2 days. I've seen enough. I'd like to go home now. It's a lot. They're so fun. They're so clever. But not everybody goes to that level. And I think that's what my point is. It's very easy for it's like one of those things. It's very easy for people to take the low road and not to elevate it in any way. Livestream consultant says, I listen to sci-fi stories on YouTube and they all have AI voices. Some are way better than others, but I think that mostly has to do with who wrote the scripts for AI to read the videos. Yeah, look, one of the things that I've noticed being served a bit, and it took me like embarrassingly too long to realize what was going on. I like those things that just read the Reddit posts, and then it's just like, now it's just like, I don't know if that one even happened. You know, it's like these posts don't sound real anymore. Like, not the voices, but like what's being written. It's like, did that really happen? Dimmy says, I was reading an article about combine harvesters where they build in AI to make them more efficient. That could probably lower the prices on corn, etc. It could possibly, but would not then that equipment actually cost more to run and maintain? So that while yes, it would save that time and be more efficient for sure, would not that equipment outlay cost even more to run, therefore negating any savings on the corn? I mean, I'm just being devil's advocate here. So like, you got to look at the difference between like the existing combine harvesters that are like the full on. I watch a channel which I absolutely love, Laura Farms, and her she's got like a mix of fleets, right, for her farm. So she's got the more modern stuff with like the full on, you know, comfy seats and the air conditioned cabin with the computer screens everywhere, and for like seed planting and all that sort of stuff. And then she's also got the old school sit on the back of the, you know, 80-year-old tractor and just get it to do its thing. Like she was talking about how much the second-hand one of the fancy one cost, and I was like blown away. And then she was like, the second-hand one of the old school tractors was like a couple $100 versus a couple $100,000. So yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, that the people operating it absolutely would need to learn to use it, absolutely. And if you want to keep your job business, you need to learn to use AI. That is true as well. That is true as well. Oh, the Sasquatch ones, yes, that's so fun too. For some reason, I was and thank you for saying Sasquatch, because in my brain I kept thinking Yeti, but I was like, no, it's not a Yeti, it's something else. But I think it's, you know, Yeti is forefront in my brain. Yeah, use auto-driven harvesters, yeah, for a long time. But I think these AI ones are going the next step. Who are you trying to find? Let me know in the chat who it is you're trying to find. Game Widows grew up on a grain and sheep farm. Yep, there you go. Yeah, like, and that's the thing, like the tools in every industry change, right? And you have to learn how to use the new tools. But you also have to decide what's a good use of the tool versus what is the not good use of a tool. You know, like I can absolutely, like just to go old school, I can absolutely hammer in a nail using the side of my pliers. Is it the best use of the pliers? No. Will it decrease the longevity of the pliers? Probably. Will it get the job done? Yes, absolutely. And so, you know, there's always going to be this, right? Like every few years, we're going to have this conversation about this new thing that we had. Like how many people did not like it when Canva and like Adobe Express came in, making a whole pile of the Photoshop stuff easier, because technically that's utilizing AI to make these processes simpler. Like for me, for somebody who could never, like I can't do Photoshop hardcore. Like I can do some basic stuff, but I can't like do like the super amazing masks that change the background manually, whereas now you can like click a button and be like, oh, I would like a cloudy sky and a stormy seas in the background there, and it's just like boom, done. Whereas before I'd have to go and find that photo, and then you kind of got to try and mask them together and not make it look awful. And I could mask them together, but I couldn't get to the not look awful stage. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I got very jealous of the farmers with the fancy tractors. We did not have aircon, radio, or cushy seats. we did have my grandpa yelling instructions over the CB and a dog co-pilot. Dog co-pilots are the best. Aren't they, Lulu? Oh, Louie, you've moved. Hang on. He's still here. He just shuffled around. Oops, hang on, I skipped one. I've been doing what I do off grid mostly and getting everything in order to put out what I know there soon. I have the YouTube and a few others. Making the content is the time issue. Yeah. Oh, Louis just left. Louis like, I'm out. Fine, Louis. If we went back in time and told our grandparents about the mobile phone and what it can do, they would think we're crazy how you can do all that stuff with the phone. Now it's AI. Yep. Agreed. Yep. Definitely. Let's cut the scrap is in the house. Hello. It's so good to see you. I bought a new sewing machine. I just want to throw that out there. I know it's not relevant to anybody, but I did. I've opened the box. It's on the dining table, but I haven't even loaded a box. I haven't plugged it in. I'll get there. I haven't had time this week. This week is a different week. My family are up skiing. And in Australia, that's actually a big deal because they've had to drive 2 states to go and find snow. And it's, it's something my husband and daughter like to do together. So they're off doing that, which is why Louis is not sleeping. And I'm like, right, this week I'm gonna play with the new sewing machine. But no, I've had so much work on. I'm like, dang it. Like, I'm not going to complain about the work because I'm loving the work, but I'm just like, I had these other things. Oh, yes, thank you. And that's the other thing. I had the fiberific retreat this weekend. So I won't be live streaming on Monday. I'll be exhausted. So next week I won't be live streaming at all because Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to be away at a retreat that I run every year. So it's so much fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Let's have a look. So yeah. So let me know in the chat, like what's something on YouTube that you're struggling to keep up with, like or it's just a task that you either find daunting or you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What's funny is my wife and I tried to get my mother-in-law to use a new cell phone, then a flip phone, and she just couldn't do it. It was too advanced for her. Look, and this is one of the things, we have the same issue with my father-in-law. He does now have a smartphone. We had to lock some stuff on it. But, and my dad, not a smartphone guy. My dad is like he needs to be able to have a big button that answers a call. That's it. And Doug will also be solo streaming at a slightly later time on Saturday because he's having an extended show because there's no Nick and Dee next week either. So make sure that you're over checking out Doug's scheduling to find out what time he's starting. It'll be a bit later than usual. It won't be it's usually 7:30 a.m. Eastern. Is that right? I can never convert it. I'm sorry, Doug. I might pop in to say hello if I'm back in my room by then, but I may not be. I don't have great internet while I'm away at these retreats, which is the other awkward thing. And that's the other thing. Like, I've got to try and get all this, client work done to make sure it's all done, before I leave Friday morning. So I've got, I'm losing 2 days because I normally do Friday and Saturday for work as well. And then I have Sunday and most of Monday not. But yeah. I was making up for slacking. He wasn't slacking. Doug was unwell. It's not slacking when you're unwell. And I'm like, were you thinking I'm slacking? Like when I'm unwell? Are you going to be aiming for 8:30 a.m. Eastern? Cool. That's good. Wallace, I'm not quite sure what you're trying to say there. Hire someone here for open account for channel. I'm not quite sure what that means. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. Sorry. Chantel never slacks. Oh, I slack. I just don't slack when I'm sick. That's all. There's a difference. There's a difference. that did not, what? Hang on. Oh, there we go. I'm like, that comment didn't appear in the YouTube feed, and I had to actually scroll up and then back down again because it wouldn't let me scroll down far enough. Weird. That's so weird. Hello, glitchy stuff. Oh, goodness me. I'm perplexed about what, like, I'm like, there's a whole, all my color is gone on that side. I'm like, what? That's going to be my job today, is to work out what I accidentally unplugged. Because I actually removed a whole, like, there was all lighting set up over there that wasn't being used anymore, and I've actually found a new home for it. So I had a big 3-point softbox lighting kit that there's just no room for in here, and it was just sort of taking up space. So I packed all that down and shipped that off to a new home. But when I was unplugging stuff, I must have unplugged more than I thought I did. I thought I just unplugged the one plug, but totes not. Totes not. Oh, I think I understand now. So you've got the content that you want to put onto YouTube, but you're not comfortable on your computer to do it all. I understand. I think I understand. Right. I think I understand. Yeah. I get to sleep in an hour next. Aren't you normally awake at like sparrows anyway? I don't know. And then Wallace, my question is, right, and I don't want this to come across as harsh, but I want you to think about it, okay? Is if you've got content to share, but you're not confident on a computer, how are you editing the content? So you're a photographer who wants to share your photos on YouTube, right? I get that. Are you making like videos of like a few photos sliding together? Like what is the content you're trying to share on YouTube? Because maybe YouTube might not be the best place for this. Like there's a lot of places that are very photographic centric for sharing individual photos that aren't for people to utilize themselves. They're just beautiful to look at. I kick the son out of the bed every day. He does kicking and screaming most mornings. Yeah. Okay, so and this is the thing you need to think about. Why would somebody watch your videos? And this again, I don't mean to sound harsh. I need you to think about it. Like, it's all good and well to go, I want to put these up on YouTube, but why? Like, and not from your perspective. Why is a viewer wanting to watch those? What about your photo that you want to put up on YouTube, which you'll have to turn into a video because you can't upload photos to YouTube? It'll need to become a video file, unless you just add them to community posts, which seems an odd thing to do, but is doable. You have to think about why an audience person would want to look at your photo. What is it about that photo that makes it so special that somebody who is on a video viewing platform is going to look at that photo? I think maybe going and looking at Dimmy, the emojis that are in the chat float around the screen, just so you know, which was, so Doug's pray hands floated across the screen. So Wallace, you need to like have a think about what it is about that photo that's going to make people look at it. Or are you just wanting to do that, or are you just wanting to put it out there just to store it? Doug, you're a terrible person. Bye, let's cut the scrap. Have a good one. We did, when we very first put the emoji wall up over on the Fiberific channel, we tried to see if we could crash the system, and it turns out it didn't. There was so many, like, you basically couldn't see me for the amount of emojis, and it still was going hard. So you guys are normally so well behaved with the emoji wall here. I don't turn it off, but I may have to if Doug keeps being naughty with his little poop emojis. but yeah, so I would really, Wallace, I would really have a good hard think about what is the audience viewer that you are trying to get and why for your photos. Doug, I understand it was a demo, but did you have to use a poop emoji? There's quite a choice. There's quite a choice of emojis. So, it's a puzzle game with clouds, so special. Photos, faces in the clouds. Okay. I'm still not sure. You guys. Oh, sorry. I say you guys. It's Doug. It's just Doug. It's a puzzle game with clouds, so special. Photos and faces in the clouds. So it's kind of like a Where's Wally kind of situation where there's a cloud, but you've masked in actual faces into the clouds. Okay. So Doug's like, I'll leave now. Oh dear. You have spatial vision. Yeah. So my dad's a painter and an artist. So we would actually lay on the ground and look at the real clouds and look at shadows on walls and things. And he'd actually run over with a pencil and sketch in what he would saw. And then he'd block the shadow and then step out of it and you'd be like, he would see a face. So we all learned how to do that. So I personally find that really quite interesting. And so I'm sure there'd be other people interesting as well. Yeah, and this is where I'm getting at, Dimmy. Like if you're doing really fantastic photography, you could add. There needs to be some draw for other people, not for you, for other people. Like yes, you're enjoying making the content, but if you actually want someone to look at it, like it's fine, like it's 100% fine if you just want to upload it and put it on YouTube. That's totally cool. Do that. But if you're actually wanting to get views out of it, you need to think about how you're going to package that for somebody to actually click on it. You putting it on YouTube is not enough if you want people to watch it. You need to look at the broader vision of what it is. You need to look at, like, how would you get Dimmy to watch it, or myself, or Doug? What in your thumbnail or your title or your edit, well, thumbnail and title first and foremost, because I need those before I'm even going to click on anything. So yeah, it sounds like you've got this idea that you just want to put content on YouTube, but you haven't gone to that next step of how are you going to get people to watch it. So I would definitely be giving that some thought about who is the ideal audience person for your content, who is the person that will enjoy it. And as Dimmy said, if you're a really great photographer, there's things that you can do to help. There's different things that you can make so that it's, makes people watch it. But they involve extra steps, because you can't just upload the photo to YouTube. You need to turn that photo into a video. So if you're planning on just putting one photo up, you could turn that photo into a longer, like a video, maybe a minute or two video, and then put some matching music behind it, and just an AI voice of like explaining the journey, like, hey, can you see the people dancing? Or whatever it is that, what do you see in the clouds? Like, and then just fade it into the music a little bit. Like, there's things that you can be doing to draw attention to it. But you do need to consider that as well. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to have some coffee because it's getting colder now and I need to finish it. I don't need to finish it. I want to finish it. Oh, dear. Doug, did you really leave just out of curiosity? Or are you still here kicking around, just less emojiing? Goodness me. Yeah, it's a bit of chug. Leave me alone. Can't see the faces in image unless you blow it up. Okay, so my question is, what if somebody's watching your photo video on their phone? Are they going to get anything out of it at all? Because if they can't see any of the faces or the images unless they blow it up, they're not going to zoom in. That's pretty much a given. They're not going to zoom in. So you need to, make it so that they can, well, I mean, they may zoom in once they work out what they're looking for. So, are you still here? That's good. Now, I did just get a message. All good. Something that I need for retreat has landed in the country. So that is positive. That's positive. That's a good step. That's a good step. Now I needed to land here before Thursday. But yeah, so you've got to be thinking about how people watch content and how people look at YouTube, because I personally watch most of my YouTube either here on a monitor or out in the living room on the TV. But there's a huge number of people that are on their phones. So yeah, puzzle game. So do you explain the puzzle game in every video? Because you need to make sure that that's in every video. Yeah, so I mean, I'm cool with the puzzle game. Like, I got no issues there, but you need to be making that clear in every video. And how are you making it clear? Is it text on the screen? Is it, what background audio do you have? Because if you've just got an image on the screen and no audio, you need to be thinking about, like, even we do these quiz game things, and there's even background audio for those, a little bit of background music on those. Did its parachutes open? I don't know. Possibly. So, but yeah, you've got it. Like, YouTube is a video platform. People will just, they're there to consume video. If it's a game, that's cool, but it still needs to be a video. And they still need to be able, you still need to do they still need to be convinced to click the photo, convinced to follow the thumbnails into the things. 10 squares in one image. Okay. I might be undercaffeinated. Yeah. I'm not sure I get it, but that's okay. I may not be the ideal audience for this, and maybe I'm not supposed to get it. I understand that. But yeah, I'm just thinking, no matter what it is that you are putting onto YouTube, you have to think of the viewer experience, because your game is going to be coming up against every other thing that's on YouTube. You go and log into your YouTube and you look at your homepage and you insert one of your images, like, add in your brain, add in your photo of your thumbnail. How is that competing with everything else on YouTube? Because that's really what you'll be doing. And it's not just, you don't just compete against other people in your niche. You compete against everything your desired viewer wants to watch. So you have to be thinking about this stuff. It's great making a really fun and interesting concept, but how are you going to package that? Because even Mr. Beast out there with his 11 billion subscribers and quadrillions of views on everything, he says if he can't come up with a thumbnail and a good title for something, it just doesn't happen. He may have a really fun concept, but if he can't work out a way to package that, it's abandoned. So yeah, I think I'm going to have some water. And that will actually make it harder for you. No one on YouTube has what I have. If nobody on YouTube has what you have, that will actually make it harder, because you can't go and see what somebody else is doing to make it work for that particular niche. So personally, I would collab with some big names within the photography space and also other YouTubers, interview them and post the question and answer on screen in text or a voiceover. Wallace says the thumbnail of my face, old face, really. If you're like, how do I put this? I put my face on my thumbnails because I'm in the live stream and people are expecting to see me in the live stream, right? I put my thumbnails on my face on my thumbnails in my videos because I'm in the video and people expect to see me in the video. If you are not going to be in the photos, like if your face is not in all the photos, then your face on your thumbnails won't actually help you get any views right now. Maybe down the track when people learn who you are. So yeah, I don't know. I think you're going to have to do some testing. I think you're going to need to go in and A/B split test the thumbnails, be making 3 thumbnails for each one of your videos. Make them very different. So one without your face, one with your face, and then one with some text or something to make it different, and see which one of those is getting the clicks. Luckily for us, we are able to do that for free now through YouTube. You can, when you're uploading your video, you can upload 3 thumbnails. So you'll be able to work out which style is going to work for you. And Doug, I think you're right here. It's a visual game channel, not a photography channel. And I think that's where I was getting caught up. I was thinking photography when it's not photography at all. It's actually a game. So you need to be looking at other game channels, not gaming, not like computer gaming, but like games. Go and find games on YouTube. People doing like brain teasers and things like that. Go and find those channels. Matt Constance, it's great to see you. I managed to make it for a bit of this week's live stream. I'll have to catch up on the rest of it later. Chantel, you should have Doug do your live stream next week and have an AI doctor an image of Doug for your thumbnail on your channel. Oh my gosh, that would be funny. That would be funny. Let's hear. I've been trying to implement some changes since you reviewed our channel, so thank you very much. No worries at all. I'm glad. How's it going? Are you noticing any changes? Because that's the other thing. You don't have to do everything all at once, honestly. But are you noticing anything yourself? Let's have a look here. Yeah, Dimi, I'm with you on this one. Like, I'm no good at creating thumbnails. And the problem is I actually enjoy the process. I'm just terrible at it. And so I'm trying to learn. And so I'm watching, what's his name with the hair, the flick hair? He does all the Beast thumbnails, or he talks, is it Chucky? Chucky does a lot of the thumbnail work for Mr. Beast. Now, I don't want to make Mr. Beast style thumbnails. That's not where I'm going with this. But there's like how they decide what's going to work and what's not going to work. That's relevant across the board. You don't have to use the same kind of imagery, like as in the same sort of cartoon style Beast face, or Jimmy face, not Beast, Jimmy face, all that sort of stuff. But the psychology and the hows, the tos and the whys, that's relevant across the board. So watching all this content on how to get better at it, so far all it's really done is shown me how bad I am at it. Eventually I'm hoping it'll help me get better, honestly. I've been focusing primarily on getting the thumbnails improved, and we'll give it a few more videos before we can really tell. Fair enough. Doug says, I literally make 5+ thumbnails per video. I don't use them all, but the good ones I pop out and I learn from that. Because that's the thing, right? While we are creating on YouTube and we're uploading to YouTube, most of us, if not all of us, I would say, are also YouTube viewers. So you put your little viewer hat on. As a viewer, which one of these actually resonates? Which one jumps out at me? And which one would I click? And then, see which ones of those thumbnails are going to work for you and go from there. Because like I'll say I don't make 5 thumbnails, but I make like 3 iterations of a thumbnail, right? And try to like, oh, I don't like that bit of this one. And then I create like an amalgamation of the 3 usually is how I work it. It's not to say it's the right way. It's just how I'm doing it, which is probably why it's not great. Like, let's be honest. Don't do it the way I'm doing it. But it's just how I'm doing it. I'm just explaining what I'm doing. So yeah, I find that it's like the whole, work better from not a blank page kind of thing. If I've got a couple there that I've kind of just like roughed out really quickly, and I can be like, well, I like the font from that one, but I like what the text actually says in this one. I like the background photo from that one. And then sort of, jerry rig it up so it's, jiggery pokery, done. I'll get better. Practice. Doug has 15 different colors for his shirt in his videos and picks the one color that resonates with the video topic. Doug does have some good shirt colors, I will say that. I tend to just stick with teal, green, or grey, or black are my usuals. And Doug says, I wish it was that thoughtful. I just make sure it's not the same color as the previous week. I don't like having my photo taken. I don't like taking it myself. I don't like having other people take it. I'm very, like you guys know, I'm very harsh with my own image here. And so I tend to be like, fine, I'm going to take some photos today. Fine. And then I'll take like 20, 30 photos and I'll just use either the one that I end up liking, because out of that many photos, and there might be one I like, or a couple, and I'll just use them over and over and over again. I need to stop doing that. It's not working. But I don't like having my photo taken. Like we have this conversation here in our household that there's not a lot of family photos, and it's because I take a lot of the photos. So I'm not in the photos, but yeah, it's one of those things. You've got to work out what works for you, what works for your channel, and what works for your audience. And the only way you can do that is by experimenting and is by testing things out and trialing them. And one is not a trial, 2 is not a trial. Okay. Like it's got to be like for a decent amount of time. It needs to be a couple of months. Because especially for those of us that are relying on search for things, it can take a couple of months for it to start to kick in. So you have to accept that when you're testing and trialing these things, you might do like say you do a trial of 5 videos, right? 5 thumbnails of a video, and you want to test and trial them, and you are a search-based topic. You can do that test and trial. You can look at the data in like a week, 3 weeks, whatever. And all you can really do at that stage is go, that's interesting. And you need to wait and be moving on to other things, testing something else, back to whatever it was that, was sort of working, whatever. Keep testing, keep trialing, keep different things. But you need to have like a decent amount in a test or a trial, and you need to let it sit there for a little bit to see what happens longer term. Especially, and I am specifically talking for those people who are in the search related topics. Now, ultimately, we'd love it if we're all in recommended, suggested straight away. But let me know in the chat, where does the majority of your views come from on your channel? Are they coming from search, from recommendations, from suggested? For me, most of mine comes from search. And so I really have had to sort of readjust my thinking to make sure I'm doing things based on search, because that's where my traffic comes from. So yeah. Livestream consultant says me. So your stuff comes from search as well, so that's cool. I think Doug's is yours search. I think yours might be search based as well, although you probably get some recommendations. that is done. Yay, we finished the coffee. Okay. I've definitely lost the dog. He has definitely gone somewhere else. Alrighty. Everybody, we have been chatting for some time today. We definitely search mostly for Doug. Yeah. I hope that you were able to take something away from today's stream. Even if it's just a one thing, it doesn't have to be a million things. I don't know about you, but I find that if I can just focus on one change rather than a big bunch of changes, I actually can get more success rather than my brain stalling, going, oh my gosh, there's so many things I have to do. Rather than go, okay, I just need to tweak up a thumbnail. I need to get better at working out how much or what kind of font in my thumbnail. And just have that one thing. That's technically two, but you know what I mean. So yeah, so if we can all just focus on like that 1% better, 1%, it doesn't have to be 50%, 1%. I hope you all have a fantastic week. I will not be streaming next week. Doug is streaming Saturday. He'll be streaming a little later, so look out for him from 8:30 a.m. Eastern and go from there. And he's going to run long. So I don't know what he's going to do in his stream. It could be anything. Doug is crazy. Doug is crazy. All right, I'll catch you all next time. Have a fantastic week and just keep learning and trialing and testing and we'll see how it goes. Bye now.